All right, well, good afternoon and welcome to all our distinguished university leaders. I'm pleased to join you here today, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sarah Hubbard and I'm chair of the University of Michigan Board of Regents. I was elected in 2020 and have really enjoyed my time in this role. We appreciate your willingness to take a moment to reflect on the past year and where we are headed. We're grateful for President Ono's commitment and vision that have driven us forward these past months. His priorities on vision, the campus plan, and DEI are commendable. The groundbreaking for the new Central Campus residential project and the establishment of an independent ethics, integrity, and compliance office, followed by the appointment of its inaugural officer, are evidence of actions taken to move the university forward. As we embark on this afternoon's address, we look forward to hearing about President Ono's inaugural year and a glimpse into the strategic plans and initiatives that will guide our shared journey forward. To kick off this engaging session, we are honored to hear from one of our esteemed professors, Dr. Tom Braun, who serves as the chair of the Senate Advisory Committee of University Affairs. Let us welcome Dr. Braun.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to have the, I gotta move this over a little bit. I am pleased to have the opportunity to share with you the accomplishments and upcoming goals of the University of Michigan University Senate, the Senate Assembly, and SACUA. First, in May, the Senate approved by a 2-to-1 majority to expand its membership to approximately from approximately 4,000 tenure-track faculty, research-track faculty, and librarians to include an additional approximately 3,000 clinical track faculty, lecturers, archivists, and curators. So the number is almost over 7,000 individuals now. After nearly 2 years of continual conversations, we have greater and needed inclusion among all the many faculty on our 3 campuses, and we've generated a greater collection of voices in faculty governance. Now, more recently, we've collaborated successfully with the Provost's Office to initiate the first study since 2016 to examine the salaries of Ann Arbor tenure-track faculty in efforts to ensure faculty compensation at the U of M remains consistent, competitive, and equitable. We hope this report will become perhaps a biannual assessment, but more importantly, serves as a model for Ann Arbor, all faculty in Ann Arbor, as well as our Senate members at the U of M Flint and the U of M Dearborn campuses. We're also aggressively working on examining and improving existing oversight systems, like the faculty grievance process, which was first endorsed by Senate Assembly back in 2010, and re-examining Regents' bylaws and standard practice guides that exist to protect tenure, with the goal of clarifying both the responsibilities that come with tenure and the guaranteed expectations that tenured faculty should have. We are also excited to begin engaging with Michelle Casey, who arrives in January as the inaugural director of the newly created Ethics, Integrity, and Compliance Office, which was created with impetus from faculty governance. And last, we in governance continue to be engaged with the contemporary challenges presented to academic freedom. We held our annual Davis Margaret Nickerson Lecture on November 9th, which was given by Dr. Jonathan Friedman from Penn America. In his talk, Dr. Friedman gave a compelling series of examples of the threats that currently exist to academic freedom across our country. But he also warned us that we ourselves in academia currently do not agree nor fully understand what exactly academic freedom is, and how this lack of consensus is undermining our ability to quash external threats to our academic freedom. We must find a way forward where faculty governance and university administration can demonstrate a united set of, certainly imperfect, ideals that serve to connect rather than polarize our U of M campus and announce to the nation why universities are integral to our society. I am confident we have the administrative and faculty leadership to make this happen thoughtfully, courageously, and humbly. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce someone we all know well, the president of the University of Michigan, Santa J. Ono. Santa came to us a year ago, this past October, from service as president of the University of British Columbia, and prior to that, he was the president of the University of Cincinnati. Santa is an experienced eye researcher as well as an accomplished cellist, and he holds degrees from the University of Chicago and McGill University. So please join me in welcoming President Santa J. Ono.
Thank you so much, Tom. Let's hear it for Tom once again for his leadership. It is such an honor to be here with all of you this afternoon, regents, our executive officers and deans, our colleagues from Michigan Medicine, and our staff, student, and faculty leaders. You all exemplify our credo of the leaders and best. You are the reason we are a world-leading public research university. It has been just over a year since I began my presidency at this august institution, and it remains the honor of my lifetime to serve with all of you as president of the University of Michigan. We have achieved much together, and while we have had our challenges, we are coming through. So we will continue to walk together with respect and humility, and work together with the same mission and purpose, the commitment to excellence, achievement, and integrity. Because this is who we are. This is who we will always aspire to be. So I say with a pride that should be shared by all of us, the state of our university is strong today. Let's review a few of our highlights from our year together. One of the very first commitments we made was to ensure that excellence and integrity remain the bedrock of our university community. We're doing so, and next January, Michelle Casey will begin service as our inaugural ethics, integrity, and compliance lead. This year, we received a record appropriation from the state of Michigan, which will enable us to better carry out our public mission of developing the next generation of leaders and of citizens. We launched a new arts initiative. We celebrated a new building for our College of Pharmacy. And through our merger with Sparrow, our excellence in patient care has expanded its reach. At the same time, the D. Dan and Betty Kahn Healthcare Pavilion is continuing to rise. You can see it nearing completion. That world-class hospital, which will be complete in 2025, was made possible thanks to an amazing $50 million gift from the D. Dan and Betty Kahn Foundation, an expression of their profound dedication to the University of Michigan and to the public good. This year, our Marcel Family School of Education was named in recognition of a transformational $50 million commitment, the largest in the School of Education's history, one of the largest of any education school in the country, by the family of Kathleen and Brian Marcel. Through their gift, we will be challenging the lives of future generations. Before 2023 is complete, we will break ground on the University of Michigan Center for Innovation in Detroit, which was enabled by a $100 million gift from the Stephen Ross Foundation and $100 million more from the state of Michigan. We're excited to say that we just recently hired Scott Shireman as UMCI's inaugural director from Coursera. He has the charge of making it into a world-class research, education, and entrepreneurship center, one that will empower the next generation of Detroiters to dream bigger dreams and make their dreams into realities. I believe we should not only be the University of Michigan, we should be the University for Michigan. We joined with a new public-private partnership with local and international companies to establish a global semiconductor center of excellence for the state of Michigan. We're also part of the new Midwest Hydrogen Hub, which is focused on building a clean hydrogen economy. We are also engaged with Governor Gretchen Whitmer's Growing Michigan Together Council, which will present its final report in early December, just several days, and are eager to work on talent attraction and the retention of both domestic and international students in this state and this region. And we've done so. We've seen the university research corridor become more focused and more ready to align with the business leaders for Michigan, which has the potential to catalyze growth across our state. In fact, a recent report developed by Richard Florida and the Creative Class Group is very bullish, as I am, about Michigan becoming a great technology hub for startups and growth if we can successfully navigate our ongoing technological transformation. In Ann Arbor, our enrollment grew again this fall, making the University of Michigan the largest and most sought-after public research institution in the state. Our total enrollment reached more than 52,000 students, including 9,000 first-year and transfer students, a record number, a 3% increase in undergraduate students to almost 34,000 total, and a 5% increase in PhD students. Interest in our university is continuing to grow, and we received a record number of nearly 94,000 applications from first-year and transfer students. Our incoming class consists of more first-generation students and students from low-income backgrounds, as well as a greater number of students of color, who now comprise 44% of this year's incoming class. That includes a 25% increase in Black and African American students, as well as a 29% increase in Hispanic and Latino students. More than half of our incoming students hail from the state of Michigan, with nearly every country represented in the student population. We also have students from all 50 states and the District of Columbia joining us, in addition to students from 65 countries. Those students are joining a university that is even better prepared, even more committed to ensuring the fullest expression of their gifts and the best possible environment for their education. Last month, we broke ground on the Central Campus residential project on South 5th, which will add 2,300 beds by the summer of 2026. The project, which is the best, to our best of our knowledge, is the largest of its kind in development anywhere in this nation, will meet the needs of our growing student body and be transformative for both our central campus and the undergraduate experience. We have also begun construction of the Edward and Rosalie Ginsburg Center, which will be a place of community and civic engagement, of partnerships and relationships. The center, a model of sustainable design, was made possible by an incredible $10.5 million gift from the Ginsburg family. It's expected to be in use by the fall of 2025. To further aid our students in finding connection and community, we have recently renovated 4 multicultural lounges. These are wonderful places. Our Michigan Housing, Diversity, and Inclusion Office is also in the process of renovating all 16 of its multicultural lounges, further strengthening our ties and advancing DEI. We're also making great progress on the Hadley Family Recreation and Well-Being Center, not too far from here, which will replace the older and much beloved CCRB, the Central Campus Recreation Building. I can't wait to use it. The Hadley Center, which we can see being constructed every day, will enable greater access and opportunity for students, faculty, and staff to connect, to strengthen their wellness, and to sustain their well-being. As we press ahead from the pandemic years, we remain steadfastly dedicated to the health and wellness of our campus and our community. The lessons we have learned since 2020 have inspired us to establish a lasting public health infrastructure to monitor not only COVID-19, but a range of other diseases. to ensure our community's access to life-saving vaccinations and to respond to emerging public health concerns. Let's give Dr. Ernst a round of applause for his leadership in that area. All of us, all of the deans in this room understand the great need also to address mental health and well-being among our students and our faculty. I am deeply proud of Michigan's efforts to strengthen our mental health ecosystem for the members of our university through our innovative continuum of care model. Let's hear it for Michigan Medicine for all they've done to lead in that area. From free same-day virtual counseling sessions in our student life portfolio for our students, to a forthcoming course that empowers faculty to respond to students' mental health needs, we are creating a cohesive and comprehensive network of resources for every member of our staff. Ever the innovators and leaders, we continue to tackle more complex care needs for those in our community. That includes our establishment of UHS's Addiction Medicine Clinic and a pilot of the groundbreaking use of a new technology to help student survivors of sexual assault. The work of our Well-Being Collective is also advancing. We must do more than simply bolster our resources. We must also examine our systems and policies to ensure that every member of our students, staff, and faculty can learn, grow, and thrive. That's why the wellness and well-being of each member of our community is one of my highest priorities, one of the highest priorities of the leadership team. We also have several other strategic priorities, which it's essential we execute on each day. Let me just enumerate them and humor me. They are serving our communities, ensuring the highest quality of services to our students, patients, and other members of our communities. Completing Vision 2034, which you'll hear much more about in my remarks and those of my leadership team. Campus Plan 2050, the first comprehensive plan for the entire institution in quite some time. DEI 2.0, the culture journey, our focus on sustainability and climate action, addressing the climate emergency that puts us as a civilization in harm's way. Energizing our research and our scholarship. Affordability and efficiency, working to continuously leverage and scale the impact of our resources to control costs and to improve services for everyone in our community of scholars. You see, it's essential for us to recognize that each of us has a role, everyone in this room and beyond. And even more, I'd say, a responsibility in achieving these goals for the growth and betterment of the university that we love. As each of us continues to serve, we must also continue to lead, not only locally, but also globally. We're in the midst of the strategic visioning process to sharpen our impact and to determine who we are, what we stand for, and what we will dare to achieve as a great public university. Let me talk about Vision 2034 first, which will be transformational. It's not intended to be a detailed and prescriptive plan in this famously decentralized university, but rather a North Star, which will point our way forward, and under which we will align our assets and our resources as a university for the next decade. I believe it's our great opportunity together as a team. It's about what we can do. It's what we aspire to do together. And together, we need to come so that we can actually achieve this bold vision. You see, we've never done this before in this magnitude as a campus and community. So over this past year, we've engaged with thousands of faculty, staff, students, alumni, and others who have shared their ideas on our future, their aspirations and ambitions for the institution. I'd like to thank all of you in this room and watching by live stream, across the campus and around the world, thousands of alumni who have contributed to our vision. It's been so exciting to see your ideas coalesce and suggest new directions and new horizons for our university. And we're looking forward to sharing our vision with you very soon. In concert, we've embarked on an inclusive planning process to transform Vision 2034 into a physical reality for our Ann Arbor campus and beyond through Campus Plan 2050. As with our vision, the active engagement of University of Michigan students, staff, and faculty has been essential to the progress that we've achieved thus far, including a series of open houses this fall. While Vision 2034 seeks to define what we will dare to achieve over the ensuing decade, Campus Plan 2050 will explore how the Ann Arbor campus's physical spaces and places should be designed to support our mission and vision in a sustainable way. Campus Plan 2050 will include 5 and 10-year development planning horizons, as well as a long-term 25-year plan that will serve as a catalyst to drive ongoing initiatives and establish clear priorities for capital investments. Most of the possibilities that have come out of our engagements with all of you fall into 5 overarching themes, including connectivity, sustainability, health and well-being, campus life, and renewal and strategic investment in new campus spaces. Thanks to all of you, these interconnected initiatives, Vision 2034 and Campus Plan 2050, are shaping our shared future. We have made incredible progress since we announced them in January of this year, and I'm looking forward to sharing more with you about them in the new year. As we vision together and plan together, we must also ensure that together we sustain our place of primacy in research, scholarship, and innovation. It's what we're renowned for around the world. It's the core mission of every great university. Over the past year, we have implemented 6 distinct and complementary efforts to strengthen and amplify our research, scholarship, and creative practice across our 3 campuses, including some of these initiatives. Supporting more than a dozen new and early-stage multidisciplinary faculty teams whose ambitious transdisciplinary projects have substantial potential for significant large-scale funding, and that funding is coming in. Boosting faculty visibility for external honorifics by increasing coordination across units and schools, ensuring equitable nomination processes, and expanding the ability to track where and how University of Michigan researchers are being recognized. And that is bearing fruit. Identifying, engaging, and gaining support from foundations and other nonprofit funders so that faculty can explore high-risk science and scholarship, as well as early-stage proof-of-concept projects. These efforts, your scholarship and excellence, are demonstrating results. This past year, we reported a record $1.86 billion in research volume, an 8.1% increase from last year, which led to critical advancements in areas ranging from microelectronics to global infectious disease to social justice and artificial intelligence. We also had an incredible economic impact, including 580 invention disclosures and 25 new startups launched, catapulting the University of Michigan into the top 3 to 5 universities in this country by every metric of commercialization. To further strengthen our leadership in research, innovation, and impact, over the days and decades to come, Rebecca Cunningham and I engaged in an external research review, and many of you were engaged in that comprehensive effort. Together, we convened a series of listening sessions and focus groups with University of Michigan experts and external partners to assess the current state of our research portfolio and creative practice enterprise, and to offer strategic guidance on ways we can more effectively advance our research mission. Based on their insights, we plan to implement a series of tactics and strategies to advance our research excellence and accelerate our groundbreaking discoveries, even as we continue to serve as a wellspring of education and training for future research leaders. I'd like to thank the members of the Office of Vice President of Research and Innovation for their leadership in this area. Please give them a round of applause. Yet, if we have achievement without character or results without integrity, we have gained little. That's why values must be at the heart of everything that we do together as a university. Together, we have embarked on a culture journey, an effort to create a set of unifying shared values, which will set a lasting high standard for our campus behaviors, systems, and practices that support our cultural and scientific aspirations. I'll repeat them to you because they're worth considering on a regular basis. Those values are integrity, respect, inclusion, equity, diversity, and innovation. Next January, we expect to launch a university-wide campaign to socialize those values and share their example behaviors with all the members of our community. It's vital that each of us engage with those values, that they infuse all that we do, that we encourage our colleagues and teams to live out those values also. Leadership demands no less. So let us always be a university of values, and let our values always be who we are as a university. 3 of those core values are diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I'm excited about the progress that we're making in this area. This year's DEI Summit was an exceptional success, a discourse that engaged nearly 4,000 members of our community. At the summit, we launched our DEI 2.0 initiative, whose curriculum will move beyond awareness and into the realm of skill building, using targeted programming to equip our community with the strategies and techniques needed to disrupt bias, prevent workplace issues and retaliation, and build psychological safety in every corner of this institution. We also launched MPACT, the Michigan Program for Advancing Cultural Transformation in the Biomedical and Health Sciences, through a 5-year, $15.8 million grant from the National Institutes of Health and a $63.7 million in university funding on top of that. Through MPACT, we will recruit 30 new tenure-track assistant professors across 11 schools, colleges, and units, thereby enhancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the biomedical and health sciences. As we do so, we will continue our work also on the Inclusive History Project, which, as you know, is being led by Elizabeth Cole and Earl Lewis. The IHP is an ambitious effort to honestly and critically re-examine our university's past as it relates to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Last summer, it released a 5-year plan to engage the university and our neighboring communities to develop a new expanded history of the University of Michigan. And this fall, the IHP appointed directors of research on each of our 3 campuses. They are launching a range of projects, including an exploration of the origins of University of Michigan Dearborn, a deeper examination of the 1817 land transfer by the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations that were key to the university's founding, and a long history of Hill Auditorium. These are revealing, fascinating histories. I am personally excited to see this project taking shape, and I'm looking forward to learning more about our shared past as its work progresses. Perhaps most importantly, we must recognize that anti-discrimination is foundational to all of our efforts in DEI, and that DEI is fundamental to everything that we do in anti-racism. At such a divisive, challenging time, we must defend academic freedom. We must reaffirm our values as a pluralistic public university, and we must make it clear that racism, anti-Semitism, and anti-Arab and anti-Muslim bigotry have no place on our campus or in our community. They demean our values, they debase our university, they polarize our community that we hold so dear. As a dear colleague letter from our faculty and staff in response to violence in the Middle East declared, and I wholeheartedly agree, quote, "We affirm that every human life has value and every human life counts." So we will stand together, supporting federal law, sustaining our values as a university, and strengthening the foundations of our pluralistic society. As we do so, we must also be leaders in addressing the climate emergency, something we committed to a year ago and have been working on for far longer than that. Universities are today's testing grounds for tomorrow's climate solutions. And at University of Michigan, we are continuing to make progress towards procuring 100% of our purchased electricity from renewable sources by 2025, and toward eliminating 100% of campus greenhouse gas emissions by 2040. That's not going to be easy. To make that happen, we're constructing innovative geo-exchange heating and cooling systems, planning on-site solar installations that you can see, deploying electric buses leading multidisciplinary research in a variety of different projects, advancing climate education, building upon the success of student sustainability groups and faculty who pushed us to do so, making environmentally conscious investments, and fostering a shared culture of sustainability. We have made much progress this year. In addition, we recently welcomed Shannon Weber from Princeton University as our new Associate Vice President for Campus Sustainability at the University of Michigan. And we are embarking on a search for an inaugural Vice Provost for Sustainability and Climate Action. I know that we've waited some time as a university to identify people of this caliber, and we're so excited to welcome them to this institution. Our comprehensive Planet Blue approach covers all of our campuses, as well as Michigan Medicine and athletics. As we move forward, we are committed to leading, to learning, and to charting scalable, transferable, and equitable strategies for ourselves, but also for others to follow. We're also committed to lead in the burgeoning, uncertain, exciting field of artificial intelligence. It's a topic that everyone is buzzing about in any higher education conference. In August, under the leadership of Dr. Ravi Penzi, ITS launched a suite of custom Gen AI services to our community that focus on University of Michigan's core values of equity, accessibility, and privacy. We are the first higher education institution in the world to deploy these kinds of artificial intelligence services at scale for our students, staff, and faculty. These services have an average of nearly 14,000 daily users, a number that grows every single month. Members of our faculty have developed 24/7 artificial intelligence tutors for their classes, and our tools are also being used to drive student and faculty-led experiments, exploring the responsible, legal, and ethical use of artificial intelligence. Thank you, Robbie Penzi and Lori McCauley, for your leadership in moving this forward. Let's hear it for both of them. You might have noticed there was a game on Saturday. Over the weekend, we clinched our third consecutive Big Ten East regular season title. Let's hear it for our team, Team 144. Over our friends in that school down south. I'm so proud of the achievements of all of our student athletes. For University of Michigan must always be a place where our athletes excel as students and our students excel as athletes. This past year, we earned nearly 500 academic All Big Ten selections, along with a record of almost 700 University of Michigan Athletic Academic Achievement Awards. 3 of our students won individual national championships, and 3 others were named National Players of the Year. Altogether, our teams won a record 13 Big Ten team championships in everything from women's and men's gymnastics to field hockey and ice hockey to women's tennis and men's lacrosse to rowing and women's track and field and, of course, football. As we succeed on the field and in the classroom, we're also growing and leading at our Flint and Dearborn campuses. Before I go on to that, let's hear it for the Wolverines. Our campus at the University of Michigan Flint continues its essential, nearly 70-year tradition and mission of serving, educating, and lifting. For the first time in nearly a decade, University of Michigan Flint enjoyed an increase of total full enrollment with 6,130 students and a gain of 2.4% from 2022. That included a nearly 12% increase in new undergraduate students for the second year in a row, as well as a 23% increase in new graduate students. Today, University of Michigan Flint is continuing to engage in a strategic transformation planning process so that its upward enrollment not only sustains, but we hope will accelerate. Interim Chancellor Donna Fry, where are you, Donna? There you are, is working with the campus to refine the plan and looking to the community for additional input and insight. Its goal is to help University of Michigan Flint emerge as an academically strong and financially viable institution, one that is an undisputed leader in the region for economic growth and social mobility. Let's hear it for Donna Fry and her colleagues. We're seeing similar successes at University of Michigan Dearborn under Chancellor Grasso. Where's Chancellor Grasso? Is he here? Chancellor Grasso, let's hear it for him. This fall, University of Michigan Dearborn welcomed its largest freshman class in history with 1,157 new students. It also improved its 4-year graduation rate for first-time college students by nearly 5% over this past year, so a 3% increase in its 5-year graduation rate and a more than 4% increase in its transfer graduation rate. The campus has also increased its external research funding by more than 100% since 2008. That's pretty remarkable, Chancellor Grasso. The awarded and recommended research awards for the first 4 months of FY24 for U-M Dearborn are now above $7.5 million, and it recently received a $3.53 million grant from the Department of Defense for technology for the Army's next generation fighting vehicle. I'm excited about the future of UM Dearborn, which continues to grow and continues to lead. Let's hear it once again for Chancellor Grasso and his team. I'm also proud that we have an incredibly engaged community of donors who are committed to seeing us grow and ensuring that we will lead. In addition to the incredible gifts that I've already mentioned at the outset of my talk, including the gifts from the D. Dan and Betty Kahn Healthcare Pavilion, the Marsalis School of Education, the Philip and Nicole Hadley made a $20 million gift commitment towards the Hadley Family Recreation and Wellbeing Center, and UM Law alumnus John Hoynes committed $20 million to the University of Michigan Law School to fund scholarships for students with financial need. All in, 97,000 donors gave to the University of Michigan in fiscal year 2023, with the university receiving overall funding commitments of $643 million, for which we are very grateful. Every gift, no matter what size, comes together for great impact. In fact, 98% of our gifts were less than $25,000, and over 2 giving days, nearly 14,000 donors, supported student organizations and other causes across all University of Michigan campuses. Philanthropy is so critical, so essential to our mission. Its impact is more than building. Though buildings will rise, its true impact is in shaping and transforming lives. Let's hear from Tom Baird and his incredible crew. Finally, we must remember that no matter the tumult over the issues of the day, and we know they exist, that we remain fully committed to freedom of speech and diversity of thought at this university. As dedicated as we are to the safety of students, staff, and faculty, to creating an environment where each individual, regardless of their background or what they believe, can thrive without the fear of threats, intimidation, or violence. We also hold sacred the right of members of the university community, including speakers and artists and others invited by members of our community, to offer their views and opinions. That's a cornerstone of what a university ought to be. Together in the coming year, as is inscribed in our university seal, we will pursue arts, we will pursue science, we will pursue truth. We will pursue the uplifting of every individual and the greater good of our society. We will pursue light and illumination. And all that we do this year, next year, and all the years to come must be infused and strengthened by our traditions of which we are proud, our values that we've discussed, and our highest aspirations. So let us go forward, renewed in our unity, and confident in our power and potential as one of the world's great public universities. Thank you again, and go Blue.
Thank you, President Ono, for those wonderful remarks. Hearing all those updates makes me truly proud to be a student at this university. Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mira Hurley. I'm a fourth-year undergraduate at U of M studying public policy in the Ford School, and I'm currently serving as the Central Student Government President. As CSG President, I represent students across all 19 schools and colleges, and I manage a dedicated team of student leaders. CSG advocates for students' needs and facilitates programs and events that enrich our campus community and decrease barriers to student engagement. The CSG President and Vice President collaborate frequently with the highest levels of leadership at this university. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing our next 3 speakers, the Executive Vice Presidents of this university, who work alongside student leaders to improve the student experience. Our first speaker is Dr. Lori McCauley. Dr. McCauley is Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, overseeing the university's academic and budgetary affairs. Prior to her appointment as Provost, she served as the Dean of the School of Dentistry. Dr. McCauley is the William K. and Marianne Najjar Professor of Periodontics in the School of Dentistry and Professor of Pathology in the Medical School. She has been an active researcher supported by the National Institutes of Health for more than 25 years. We will then hear from Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer Jeff Chattis, who will provide some brief updates regarding financial and operational sustainability. Mr. Chattis serves as the President's Chief Advisor on Financial Matters. He oversees a broad portfolio of financial and operational units, including the Investment Office, Finance, Treasury and Accounting, Facilities and Campus Operations, Campus Sustainability, Human Resources, Shared Services, and the Staff Ombuds. Mr. Chattis joined U of M in October of 2021. He previously served as the Vice President and Chief Operating Officer for Georgetown University and Senior Vice President for Business and Finance and Chief Financial Officer at The Ohio State University. Tough weekend for him. Finally, Executive Vice President and Dean Runge will provide an update on Michigan medicine. Marshall Runge, MD, PhD, is Executive Vice President for Medical Affairs at the University of Michigan, Dean of the Medical School, and CEO of Michigan Medicine. Prior to joining the University of Michigan in March of 2015, he was the Executive Dean and Chair of the Department of Medicine at the UNC School of Medicine, where he was instrumental in guiding the academic and clinical leadership of the School of Medicine and the UNC healthcare system. He was also principal investigator and director of the North Carolina Translational and Clinical Services Institute at UNC Chapel Hill. Thank you all for being here with us today. I'm now delighted to welcome our first speaker, Dr. Lori McCauley, who will be speaking about academic enterprise at U of M. Dr. McCauley has been an advisor, supporter, and ally of mine and has helped many other student leaders throughout her time at U of M. Welcome, Dr. McCauley.
First, let me thank President Ono for his inspiring words and leadership on our campus. Let's have a round of applause for our president. And Mira, thank you for your kind introduction and especially for your leadership on campus now. This year has had its share of landmark events across our academic enterprise. But in the fullness of time, I suspect higher education will remember 2023 for the ascendancy of generative artificial intelligence. Grappling with the reality of publicly available Gen AI, which a majority of our students are using, is a defining issue of this moment. This year, the university adapted to this unprecedented challenge with an alacrity, inclusivity, and farsightedness that is nothing short of astonishing. In March, the Office of Ravi Pense, our Vice President for Information Technology, and the Office of the Provost charged the Generative AI Advisory Committee, or GAIA, with providing guidance and recommendations for the use of Gen AI. We are fortunate to have a deep bench of renowned experts in computer science, teaching and learning, public policy, engineering, humanities, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and other relevant disciplines. And the committee reflected this extensive expertise. Over the summer, Gaia delivered a list of tangible recommendations, and our talented information and technology services team took an all-hands-on-deck approach to the recommendations, providing custom tools for students, faculty, and staff. Their dedication led us to become the first university in the nation to provide an in-house array of generative AI tools to its community and has made us the envy of our peers. The ITS team prioritized accessibility, inclusivity, and equity in these tools. Our users can utilize the latest ChatGPT-style technology in a secure, private, and screen reader accessible environment. Using our second-tier tool, U-M Maisie, instructors can tether their course materials to this technology and provide students with 24/7 access to a chatbot that accurately distills and synthesizes course material. Extensive internal testing has shown that instructors themselves rate Maisie answers well in a blind test. In September, Andrew Wu and Jun Lee, faculty members from the Ross School of Business, measured AI tool performance using standard course questions. 94% of answers provided by Maisie were rated as good or great, as compared to 74% for the standard ChatGPT. Alongside its potential, we recognize the incredible pedagogical challenges this technology, still in its infancy, presents. We continue to believe that faculty are the ones best positioned as expert teachers in their fields to think through how Gen AI fits best, or doesn't, into their own instructional environment. Artificial intelligence is changing the way we approach work at every scale, from automating tedious administrative tasks to treating cancer. But even as we utilize this technology, we are committed to emphasizing the power and potency of the human connection for our students. We remain steadfast in our conviction that education will always be a human experience. As such, the humanities will play an invaluable role in grounding our engagement with new technology and in studying its ethical and societal ramifications. To keep pace with these developments, many schools, colleges, and units are developing their own programming. At the Center for Academic Innovation, faculty have partnered with the center's online learning team to develop open online courses that teach fundamental concepts and skills in artificial intelligence. With several new courses in the works, they will extend Michigan's leadership in accessible AI instruction and add to the more than 250 Michigan online courses that have served more than 11 million learners around the world. The center is also working with faculty from across campus to create immersive, extended reality learning experiences for students. Clinical assistant professors Deb Lee and Melissa Batish at the School of Nursing are creating dynamic virtual reality guides with CAI to teach nursing skills like sterile catheterization, an example of how XR can help Michigan address bottlenecks in training pipelines by providing immersive instruction. Other XR teaching examples include LSA lecturer Soyeon Kim teaching Korean language skills in a virtual version of Seoul, and College of Engineering assistant professor Brendan Kochunas creating a digital twin of the former Ford reactor on campus to teach students the inner workings of a nuclear reactor. These experiences allow for nuanced study of subjects that are normally impossible in a traditional classroom. Learning outside the classroom takes on a special vibrancy through the prism of the arts at Michigan. This year saw the launch of the $20 million U of M Arts Initiative, and with it, our commitment to illuminate and inspire human connection through creative practice. Many campus partners are working to integrate the arts into teaching and learning across disciplines. We are broadening and deepening our arts partnerships beyond campus with an eye to the future, and we are activating the creative talents of students and professional artists alike in our first theme semester, Arts and Resistance. Examining what it takes to support attainment by all students and taking decisive steps to counter inequities is a cornerstone of another major initiative we launched this year, our Student Success Initiative. As this year's report on academic student success makes clear, a report we will be releasing early in December, our excellent graduation rates obscure disparities among various groups of students. Students who are the first in their family to attend college, students from Pell-eligible families, and students from some underrepresented groups face unique challenges on our campus. To deliver on our crucial mission to serve all our students, I'm really excited to share that we will soon have an inaugural Vice Provost of Undergraduate Education. Professor Angela Dillard, an accomplished historian, will begin this new leadership role on January 1st. This role has been recommended by multiple faculty-led working groups over the years, including the Education in the Third Century Committee. Professor Dillard will lead our Student Success Initiative. She will oversee our university accreditation efforts and allow us to address all dimensions of the undergraduate experience holistically. I'm thrilled to work with Vice Provost Dillard to learn how we can enrich the Michigan experience for students of all identities. One of the most high-impact tools we have to guarantee the richness of our educational experience for our students is our array of study abroad programs. After a serious disruption during the pandemic, nearly 5,000 students have studied abroad this year, a 69% increase over last year. Education abroad is one of the most unique differentiators of the university experience. Students regularly tell stories of finding new passions, unlocking their own capabilities, and making lifelong friends during these experiences. The Office of the Provost Global Engagement Team has built a new strategic plan around the 3 key benefits of international experiences: their high impact on broadening students' worldviews and career opportunities, the documented increase in student abroad's success and sense of belonging is palpable, and the correlation of international experience with student success as measured by graduation rates and time to degree completion is clear. The Global Engagement Team has articulated goals, including that in 10 years, 85% of U of M undergraduate and doctoral students have at least one co-curricular or international experience by the time of graduation, and first-generation underrepresented minority and Pell-eligible students are well represented in these experiences. As political science PhD candidate Dustin Gamza says, quote, "To really be able to understand a culture, a place, a history, you have to live it and be there." Of course, the core of our educational mission happens here on campus, and the nucleus of that mission is our faculty. So much of the life-changing work unfolding at the university makes an impact at the personal level. You can see the impact and the wonder on the faces of the students boarding the Inland Sea schooner on the Detroit River. As part of the university's Detroit River Story Lab, students arrive ready to learn about everything from the aquatic life teeming below to the lives of those making their homes along the river's shores. Thanks to Professor from LS&A, David Porter, and the host of interdisciplinary faculty experts and community partners that transform the ship into a floating classroom. You can also see the impact that our faculty have, such as in Lublin, Poland, where Mike Lawrence, on the left, a clinical assistant professor in the School of Kinesiology, created a program to give Ukrainian refugee children a small measure of joy. When Mike returned to his hometown of Lublin, He gave a 13-year-old refugee who wanted to help him unload his truck a soccer ball. When the boy hugged him in gratitude, Mike was inspired. Over the course of last year, he spent months helping refugees and ultimately partnered with a soccer ball manufacturer to distribute 5,000 soccer balls to refugee children. Afterward came distribution events and a soccer camp at the city's professional soccer club's facility. Some children's mothers told Mike they heard their kids laugh for the first time in months. This is but one example of the many when our faculty have engaged with refugees around the world this year. It is this passion for helping others and the combination of distinctive ability and will that makes us leaders. And you can see the results of that will and ability in the honors our faculty earn. Professor Huda Akil represented this incredible legacy at the White House, where she won the National Medal of Science, the nation's highest scientific honor. As one of the world's most eminent neuroscientists, Professor Akil has spent more than 50 years contributing to humanity's understanding of the brain. And as Executive Vice President Runge will attest, she's a credit to our institution, and we are grateful that she has made this her scientific home. This year, the university is taking bold steps to make this a sought-after academic home for a new influx of world-class teachers and researchers. In tandem with the MPACT program President Ono mentioned, the provost will open a new faculty hiring program focusing on the growth of U of M's high-stakes research capacity. As we articulate the difference and transformations we aim to make as a leading research institution. The program will bring new tenure track and mid-career faculty to campus who can catalyze, collaborate, and provide intellectual and institutional leadership in research aligned with the core impact areas and commitments that we will identify in our Vision 2034 framework. These new faculty will leverage, expand, and create new capacity at U of M for research that meets urgent societal challenges. I'm also pleased to say we have 8 new faculty joining us at the new Multidisciplinary Quantum Research Institute, and we've recruited more than half of the 21 tenure track positions that compose the Anti-Racism Faculty Hiring Initiative. We're also fortifying our current roster of faculty members through the Provost Seminars on Teaching, led by the Center for Research on Learning and Teaching, and leadership development programs like the Provost Campus Leadership Program, as well as a pilot coaching program for faculty obtaining tenure. And the coming year promises to be a banner year for newly tenured faculty, as we have the highest number of casebook submissions since before the pandemic. We are also elated to be conducting a search for our first Vice Provost for Sustainability and Climate Action, as President Ono mentioned. This role promises to add tremendous momentum to our campus-wide efforts on sustainability education and research, led by interdisciplinary engagement on environmental topics. And in keeping with the theme of momentum, the Office of the Provost, together with the CFO's office, is planning a new central funding source of up to $500 million intended to accelerate resolution of the backlog of major capital needs on our campus. As we plan the future of our built environment, this fund will provide a vital source of immediately available funds to our units, with the possibility that all or part of the costs of financing will be offset through the Office of the Provost and CFO. When lowering, in some cases eliminating, the costs of financing through flexible repayment programs, we believe this fund will allow the campus to focus on the instructional and research infrastructure most in need. Amongst this myriad of achievements and endeavors is a simple truth. When we invest in people and the means to nurture their creativity and collaboration, our institution is fortified. When President Ono says the state of the university is strong, I believe this investment in our people is the reason. We're not strong because we have custom AI tools alone. We're strong because our campuses are filled with people who meet challenges, even grand and destabilizing challenges, head on with wisdom and grace. For that reason, I'm confident the University of Michigan will remain strong well into the future. I would now like to introduce my colleague and friend, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer, Jeff Chattis. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori, and thank you all for being here. As you've heard already from the president and the provost, the university is continuing to achieve amazing results and fulfilling its academic mission, and that requires investment in our people, in our facilities, and we together need to make sure that the university can continue to deliver excellence now and for generations to come. As an institution, we continue to maintain a strong financial position, and I want to share a little bit about that with you and then talk about some of our achievements this last year in operations and sustainability. We are only one of 7 public universities that has a AAA bond rating from S&P and Moody's, showing their confidence in our financial strength. Our endowment at the end of last fiscal year 23 had a market value of nearly $18 billion and enjoyed a 5.2% investment return, on its long-term investment portfolio. That ranked us amongst the top 25 endowments and one of the top performers. Most importantly, that return allowed us to distribute funds from the endowment, in other words, money that comes out of the endowment to then be invested into our mission of about $470 million. In fact, since the year 2000, our endowment has generated over $6.3 billion to invest in academic mission, and we need to make sure that that continues as we go forward. With the recent affiliation with Mid-Michigan Sparrow Health System, the university now has a consolidated budget approaching $13 billion. Lots of billions today. Excluding full university systems like the University of California, which report their financials differently than we do, only 3 universities have a larger revenue base than we do: NYU, Stanford, and the University of Pennsylvania. All 3 have large academic medical systems like we do. And while our financial position is strong, we must continue to innovate, to stay strong. The challenges facing higher education today are formidable. Both academic and healthcare operations across the nation are facing tight labor markets, inflation, and other cost pressures, and new challenges emerge every year. And we here at University of Michigan are not immune to these issues. So we can't become complacent. We need to find creative new approaches that ensure we will have the financial resources needed to maintain our position as one of the great public institutions in the world. Sustaining excellence will require that we continue to invest these resources into our campus, our academic mission, our students, faculty, and staff. We continue to be bold in how we invest in capital projects. In fiscal year 23, we invested more than $600 million to enhance our campus in critical ways. And next year, we expect to invest yet another $1 billion in our campus. The president mentioned some of the ongoing projects in his remarks: the housing project down on South 5th, the Well-Being Center, as well as the Lineweber Computer Science and Information Building, which is underway. By the way, this is our first building which has geothermal technology being installed right now. And finally, the new pharmacy building. All of these are examples of our investment into our campus. But I have to say that it's not just the buildings you see, but the things you don't see that keep us strong. For example, the pipes and wires, the new upgraded heating and cooling systems in our existing buildings, and other important sustainability projects that allow us to grow into the next decade. These investments in our facilities will benefit us for years to come by enhancing our research capabilities, strengthening the arts and humanities, and improving patient care, to name a few things, and supporting a transformative experience for our students. But we're not stopping there. The President mentioned the Campus Plan 2050 this year as a coordinated plan for Ann Arbor facilities and infrastructure. And I want to talk about how, just for a second, how that links to the supporting our Vision 2034 plan. And the campus plan is designed to ask some questions. What investments in our future infrastructure will we need to make it possible? It's critical that we examine these questions together. As you heard, we've talked with thousands of people in various meetings across campus, and it's very important, for example, that we differentiate and say, when can we renovate and when do we need a new building? And that's what we're working on right now. So you just heard about our new exciting initiative to provide much needed funding for academic buildings and hopefully other buildings. This is an example of the creativity that allows us to take these resources and really invest in our future. The other thing that we've heard in terms of themes when we meet with folks, beyond just new versus renew, is connectivity. So not just North Campus, Central Campus, Medical Campus, and Athletic Campus, but how do people move between the two, and how can we improve that experience for all of us? This includes a number of initiatives: dedicated bus lanes, for example, new pathways for bicycles and pedestrians, and we are exploring a possible high-speed rapid connector, as you've heard, between the Central Campus and the North Campus. We'll be discussing all of this in the year to come. In addition, we are looking at innovation districts on our North Campus. Researchers alongside entrepreneurs, corporations, government agencies, together to create new opportunities, to speed new ideas, to solve global problems. This will include, as we look further, ideas like new housing, whether it's graduate housing or workforce housing, retail experiences up on Plymouth Road, dining experiences, and finally, an on-campus hotel and conference center where we can bring people together to share ideas as we go forward. These are just a few of the many exciting ideas on the table that will help to define the course ahead. Another critical area of investment will be focused on achieving our carbon neutrality goals, creating more sustainable campus infrastructure and operations. Even as we've increased our total building area since 2010 by 14%, we've managed to keep our direct campus emissions flat. Moving forward, we are committed to decreasing our direct emissions regardless of how we grow. As an example, we have now signed an RFP for 250 megawatts of solar power to be built right outside of Ann Arbor. That will go a long way to providing the needed renewable electricity to support the geothermal, which will then reduce our overall footprint in terms of the emissions of carbon. In addition, we have now had results from an RFP to install solar, and this will be in Ann Arbor, in Dearborn, and Flint, 20 megawatts in Ann Arbor, 5 megawatts at our regional campuses, and these installations are estimated to generate power equal to 10 times what is used in East Quad by traditional sources. So just one project will generate that kind of power, getting us closer and closer to our goal of carbon neutrality by 2040. In addition to infrastructure investments, we are also looking for ways to advance campus sustainability, DEI, and social impacts through our financial investments. The University of Michigan Investment Office has established itself as a leader in investing in renewable fuels, renewable energy, carbon sequestration, and greener industrial processes. Eric Lundberg, I'm not sure he's here today, but his team has developed a portfolio of investments, and the results of those investments is that we have been able to reduce in the investment companies the carbon footprint greater than the carbon we emit as as a campus. And at the same time, we have exited directly held positions in publicly traded companies that are the largest contributors to greenhouse gases and have ceased making commitments to new funds that are primarily focused on oil reserves, oil extraction, and coal extraction. In fact, the reduction in emissions through U of M investments in 2023 are on track to exceed the emissions generated by our Ann Arbor campus. This is just an incredible story, and we're looking forward to investing further into the future. With a nearly $18 billion investment portfolio, we are poised to make a difference, and we are making a difference. In addition, we focus on our university vendors and strategic suppliers. We engaged Siebert Williams Shank and Company, a top-ranked minority and women-owned investment firm out of Detroit, to lead our last bond issuance. And their CEO told us that just by us giving them that effort to lead, has led to them expanding their work in higher ed significantly. And we're proud to partner with folks like that to further our DEI goals. We're also expanding our groundbreaking community impact banking program, making targeted deposits in local banks to creatively drive support to underserved communities across the state. How we leverage our investments and who we partner with can make a positive difference. It's also important that we invest in our people. We have one of the largest employee bases in the state, over 50,000 employees, and it's important to create a healthy and inclusive workplace environment here at the U of M. Last year, we launched the Career Development Fund Staff Initiative, and we had over 700 requests for funding for career development. We were able to meet a number of those, but only about half, and so we're doubling the size of the fund as we go into next year. That's an exciting initiative to invest in our people. Indeed, this year we're also launching a new consumer-driven health plan, along with a health savings account and a new Medicare Advantage plan, very important for our employees. To support these continued investments, we also continue to identify new ways to steward resources by improving operational efficiency and streamlining campus business processes. Next year, we're launching pre-planning with the EVPs and Dr. Pense, the work for an enterprise resource software tool that will be important to invest in our finance and HR systems to make sure we're ready for the future. We're also focusing on realigning our procurement process to invest more into our future by getting the best possible price to leverage the nearly $4 billion a year we spend on goods and services so that we can invest those dollars back into Michigan. So with that, we are really want to be clear, though, that this is not about efficiency for its sake, but it's about efficiency to reinvest in mission. So it means finding ways to improve how we work and continue to invest in what we do. So thank you. I appreciate your giving me a few minutes to talk about some of these developments. As you can see, we continue to invest in our future as a way of investing in our faculty, students, and staff, and we have to continue to ensure we can do so as we go forward. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure now to introduce Dr. Runge.
Thank you, Executive Vice President Chattis. It's a real pleasure to be here today. Sorry, thank you. What I'd like to start with is to give you a bit of context around Michigan medicine and what Michigan medicine is. We're an academic medical center. We're comprised of the University of Michigan Health, which is our health system and hospitals, and the University of Michigan Medical School. And our mission is to advance health to serve Michigan and the world, and it's focused in three primary areas: in patient care, research, and education. And we strive for excellence in each of these domains. With the greater than 3,000 faculty members and 30,000 learners at all levels, healthcare providers, and staff, every one of these folks comes to work every day thinking about how they can improve health. And Provost McCauley mentioned, and they're recognized in so many different ways. Provost McCauley mentioned the recognition of Dr. Huda Akil, a neuroscientist who has devoted her career here to understanding neuroscience and its impact on all kinds of things. And in doing so, she was one person this year who received the National Medal of Science at the White House. And many of our other clinical and basic research faculty achieved the highest recognitions. So today, let me share our year in review. Our patient care network, U-M Health, continues to grow and evolve. To support our mission, we continue to pursue a statewide clinical network through various strategic partnerships and affiliations to increase access and the quality of care across Michigan. This year, as President Ono mentioned, we closed a partnership with Sparrow Health System, similar to our partnership with U-M Health West, which was formerly Metro Health. And with Sparrow and U-M Health West, we now have a regional structure led by Margaret Diamond, former president of E.W. Sparrow Hospital in Lansing. And she partners with our U-M Health president, David Miller, to oversee the integration and alignment of these three organizations. And all told, U-M Health now includes 2,200 hospital beds, 190 outpatient facilities, and provides care for 1.3 million patients a year. And our annual budget exceeds $7.8 billion, so a very large organization. This year, we're laying the foundation to evolve into an academic-based health system that offers both highly complex care through our partners' localized and community-based primary and specialty care. Now, as many of you are aware, some of you personally, our healthcare facilities in Ann Arbor are stretched and often operating at full capacity. So one question that I'm frequently asked is, if our facilities are at capacity, why are we continuing to expand our healthcare delivery system? Well, there are two principal reasons. The first is the quality and safety provided by U-M Health ranks among the highest tier in the nation, year in and year out. And we provide care for patients and families across the state of Michigan in every single county. So to do so, to make that efficient, our goal is to enhance local care so that people can receive highest quality care in their home environment. That's much better for their health than all trundling to Ann Arbor. And by partnering with community hospitals, we can collaborate with their care teams to offer an expanded group of clinical programs and specialty services, and to enable more streamlined transfers to our main campus for the very most complicated cases that really need to be cared for here in Ann Arbor. Second, as healthcare continues to consolidate in Michigan, it's essential that we partner with high-quality healthcare systems across the state to offer care across the state as part of our academic mission. And while the regional structure is about enhanced patient care, it's provided some unique opportunities to elevate, for example, to elevate our research and education missions. Let me give you two examples of that. The first is an educational example and has to do with student and resident rotations. This year we have 2 residents doing an elective surgical rotation in arthroplasty, that's joint replacement surgery at U-M Health West. These rotations will provide an exposure to an entirely different clinical practice and operational model. And since most of our trainees go out and practice in different settings, this is essential for their education. And we also will invite residents from U-M West to join our conferences, and they include our residents in Grand Rapids activities. Now, related to this, our regional network, as it matures, our residents and medical students will be able to have increased opportunities to learn medicine in communities in situations that offer complementary experiences to what we do in Ann Arbor. Another example of this synergy has to do with research. One of our researchers in neurosciences has been investigating ALS, which is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or commonly referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease, in partnership with U-M Health West. And part of that was collecting patient and control group study samples for this investigation. As you may know, ALS is a fatal neurodegenerative disease with no known therapies, and hence finding ways to treat or cure or even prevent ALS is of the greatest importance. This faculty member found that certain manufacturing chemicals increase the risk and advancement of ALS, and this was widely reported nationally and internationally, and it's because of its importance as a critical health concern. It will have impact for years to come. And we have many other examples where collaborations enhance care. We've partnered with hospitals in other parts of the state to develop acute stroke programs, where if a person has a stroke, they really need to get care within minutes, if not less than an hour. And we've made that possible in these collaborations. We've enhanced cancer care and enhanced advanced cardiac care. But we're also working hard in underserved areas where we're providing much needed services, for example, like mobile mammography. I'll give you one other example that reflects how our resources can help patients in Grand Rapids, in Lansing, in Ypsilanti, and throughout the state. We're currently opening a new highly automated specialty pharmacy located in Dexter. And next year, in the coming year, when we're fully operational with automated equipment, we'll be able to offer mail order pharmacy services to patients in all of those locales. This will increase the throughput and efficiency of our pharmacy. It also engages our patients and patients who receive these services with our absolutely outstanding pharmacists who help them understand the issues around their medication that they may have questions about. One of our futuristic goals is to support our new pharmacy. This year we have also partnered with a company called Zipline, which provides drone delivery services. And we're still in the planning stages with Zipline, but in the future we'll have the capacity to deliver prescription medications to patients' homes or offices via drone. And in the coming months, as we start to do this, we'll be sure to make some very engaging videos to show you. And the most important thing about this is it increases access to specialty drugs, and it's much more convenient than patients having to come here or go to another facility to obtain these drugs. Also, speaking of our campus commitment to sustainability, this significantly reduces the carbon emissions compared to having medications delivered by gas-fueled vehicles. So we're looking forward to adopting this new technology and expanding our pharmacy services. Before I move on to the medical school, I do want to comment on technology and innovation in health and healthcare and understanding health is one of our core values. And we have tremendous opportunities to leverage technology to improve care and to reduce stress and burnout among our care providers. You've heard a lot about artificial intelligence already this afternoon. It's a hot topic across the entire campus, and that's no different at Michigan Medicine. One of the approaches we're taking, some of what we'll do is to apply artificial intelligence to administrative burden, particularly in an area which is challenging for healthcare providers when it comes to documentation and electronic medical records. We know that AI will never replace our physicians or care teams, but we think we can find ways that it will streamline workflows and enable our physicians and all care providers to do what they do best, and that's to spend time with their patients. Healthcare providers struggle with being able to respond to patient queries through the Michigan Medicine Portal. Maybe some of you use that. And sometimes that takes physicians up to 2 hours a day just to catch up on those queries. So we're doing a collaborative project between Michigan Medicine and the College of Engineering, piloting an approach that would use AI to enhance the speed of response to these queries and dramatically reduce the time expenditure required by our faculty. I hope to be able to tell you more about that in the future. Now, our medical school continues to earn recognition for its excellent reputation in high-quality education and training. We provide medical education for over 650 students and 1,300 residents each year. We have, as you may know from the past several years, the medical school has developed highly innovative approaches so that medical students early in their training have clinical experiences, and that has proved to be a great enhancement to their medical education. We also are now engaging in beginning those processes with postgraduate medical trainees, residents, and fellows. Finally, our research programs are a major part of the medical school and U-M Health. Foundational to our research are the biomedical discoveries made by our faculty that resonate truly around the world. More than a decade ago, we developed a comprehensive multi-year research plan that has resulted in many high-impact discoveries. Today, our impact is is significant and can be defined in multiple ways, but just to give you some numbers, we publish over 32 peer-reviewed manuscripts a day. That was pretty mind-blowing for me. We disclosed 250 novel invention reports last year and currently have over 1,800 clinical trials that are active, in addition to robust basic research programs. And last year, these investigative programs as a whole were driven by nearly $800 million in research expenditures, and with $436 million of that coming from competitive NIH grants and $155 million from industrial awards. So collectively, these efforts support a great deal of the research expenditures across campus, about 44%. Now, while the breadth and depth of our investigations are both wide and deep, our collective research efforts have been guided over the years with strategic plans. And our current strategic plan, which has been named Great Minds, Greater Discoveries, has a strong focus on investment in our faculty, staff, and learners. In collaboration with the programs you've heard about already today, we hope to continue to work on building communities of scholars, which will foster even greater collaborations, one of the great strengths of the University of Michigan. The medical school has many examples of these communities of scholars around diabetes, cardiovascular research, and cancer. However, our strategy is to expand these investigator focus groups in key areas which are neuroscience, pain and opioids, health inequities, inflammation and immunity, and e-health through artificial intelligence, machine learning, and wearables. A very high priority for Michigan Medicine has been to build and utilize collaborations across the entire university. And a great example of this is a program that started well before I was here, the Institute for Healthcare Policy and Innovation, IHPI, which is the nation's largest university-based community of health service researchers to inform policy. And there are more than 650 faculty in IHPI that are all over the campus, representing 15 of our schools and colleges across Ann Arbor, Dearborn, and Flint. These partnerships and collaborations not only enhance the research occurring at the medical school, but across all the UM campuses. Similarly, broad programs are developing in precision health and in global health equity. Now, I'll only talk briefly about this. I had a couple of comments on generative AI and deep machine learning. We think that that's a great opportunity, as I said, to address operational issues. And while the medical school won't be focused on trying to develop new ways that AI works, we can combine that with studies on wearable, like my watch, and in-home technologies that offer a great promise for the future. I'd like to wrap up with mention of an inaugural event this year, the Dean's Lecture, which followed the theme of Great Minds and Greater Discoveries. Our keynote speaker this year was Dr. Steve Holland, Director of the Division of Intramural Research and Chief of Immunopathogenesis at the National Institutes of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. And this event was not just a lecture, it was a chance to celebrate discovery research and the potential impact it can have on treating and curing disease. This will be an annual event and is open to the entire research community and anybody else who would like to come. And so I certainly hope that you'll take advantage of this next year. So I thank you for the opportunity to share these highlights of Michigan Medicine, from our clinical mission to our educational and research goals, all of which focus on health and benefit from the many programs across this great campus. So thank you again for that. And I'm grateful for all of you for joining us at our State of the University today. And would you please join me in thanking our speakers, President Ono, Provost McCauley, and CFO Chattis.